Hello and welcome to another live stream Wednesday for the Women's Rodeo World Championships. We're super excited today. We have some great and awesome and amazing ladies joining us, some of which are not on camera yet, but we're working out all of the technological kinks. And so I'd just like to introduce everybody today. My name is JD Krause. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of the WCRA. And we have Sammy Jo Smith, who's the director of the VRQ, which is the Virtual Rodeo Qualifier. Say hi, Sammy Jo.
Hey, everybody.
Where are you coming to us from today, Sammy Jo?
I am coming from Rock Springs, Wyoming. So with chilly, cold weather today.
How cold is it?
Oh, it's only 50, but it's still chilly.
Yeah, great. And we have Nancy Criss coming to us. Where are you joining us from, Nancy?
Santan Valley, Arizona.
Nice. Near.
It's a little warmer here, Sammy Jo.
Yeah.
Queen Creek, is that right?
Yeah, just east Queen Creek. So not far from Horseshoe Park.
Nice, great. And then we have Lari Dee Guy and Hope Thompson joining from the same phone here.
It's just because I can't get mine to work right.
I know, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you all for joining. So super excited to talk about the $750,000 guaranteed payout Women's Rodeo World Championships that's happening the 3rd through the 7th of November in Las Vegas in conjunction with the PBR World Finals. And today we just wanted to get you ladies together and just kind of have a round table and just talk about this event, how you're approaching qualifying for it, and how you think it's going to impact women in rodeo specifically. And before we jump right into it, let me bring Jordi in, at least her audio, and see if Jordi Edens is going to join us too. Hey, Jordi, can you hear me? Are you there, Jordi?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, are you able to, do you think you'll be able to show your face, or is this going to be how we're going to do it, which is cool?
I think this is going to have to be how we do it.
Awesome. Awesome. So Jordi Edens is joining us. Where are you calling in from?
Gatesville, Texas.
Gatesville, Texas. So Jordi had an amazing end to our summer segment that culminated at the Days of 47 last year in Salt Lake City. And she made a mad dash over from the high school finals and won $50,000 and left out of Salt Lake City a pretty happy girl. But we're going to use a little leverage on her parents to get her a new cell phone, huh, Jordi? So you can show your pretty face on here.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you all. What I would like to do is I would like to start with Hope and Lari Dee. And so I'm going to just put y'all kind of in a green room here, Nancy and Jordi and Sammy Jo. You guys should be able to hear us still, but won't be able to talk. So Lari Dee, let's start with you. You've been in this business a while, and if you could, is there any way that you could put your face on the camera just a little bit more? There we go. Awesome. So first, big picture.
Social distancing.
Right. Yeah, you need a piece of plexiglass between you. Big picture. So when you first heard about this event, where were you and what did you think when you heard about the $750,000 Women's Rodeo World Championships?
I instantly got excited and kind of, like I was thinking it's about time that, the people really recognized how cool it was for women, not only to barrel race, but to have, the roping events in there and getting the opportunity to be able to do this. I mean, it was complete excitement for me.
So you're currently on the leaderboard in the WCRA in 2 disciplines, heading and breakaway roping. What does this mean for the team roping side of you, because I remember when I was in college and I went to, I think it was in Texas, to a little rodeo, and I watched you breakaway rope, and you know, a lot of you gals, you especially, Hope, I mean, a lot of the gals that breakaway rope are very accomplished team ropers as well. So is there a part of you, the team roping side of you, you know, my kids, they always talk about, I have the meal side, and then I have the dessert side of my belly or whatever. And so is there a side of you, a part of you as a cowgirl that, I mean, explain if there's a different level of excitement because of team roping specifically, and being treated equal, like there's equal pay, you know, for the team roping disciplines as breakaway that we have now. I'll shut up and let you answer the question.
Well, you know, the WCRA are, you know, they put us breakaway ropers on the stage as equal money right away. And, you know, I feel what they're doing with team roping is only going to elevate the team roping, the women in team roping, just like the breakaway. You know, if it wasn't for you guys and a couple more, I mean, I feel that breakaway roping in 3 short years just skyrocketed. But it's because of guys like you that, you know, helped us with that. And I feel that's exactly what the women's team roping is going to do. You know, there's, you know, they say there's, you know, there's probably 15 girl teams that they think are the elite teams, and then the rest are not. Well, what y'all are doing for team roping is giving every, you know, number of team, like say whether you're an open or a 9 team, an equal chance and in a way to be able to win huge money and participate in big events like this.
Fantastic. How are you approaching qualifying to compete at the Women's Rodeo World Championships? A big acronym, WRWC. What is your mentality? Do you want to be in that top 4 in the WCRA leaderboard so that you get a straight path into the main event, or do you want to compete in the open? If you have, like, tell me about your thought process, because I know you approach your rodeoing very methodically.
Well, I'm going to go try to qualify in 3 events, the head and the heeling and the breakaway roping. And all 3 I'm approaching different. You know, in the breakaway roping, I rodeo quite a bit throughout the summer, go to quite a few jackpots. So, you know, I try to nominate and get into the top 4. And, you know, with my heading, I don't get to go to as many team ropings, but all the win your ends I'm trying to get to. And I'm trying to nominate, you know, each of them and try to either get a win your end or be in the top 4. The heeling, I don't have a heel horse at this point, so I haven't been going anywhere. So I feel that I'm probably going to get me a good partner and enter through the open. Maybe Hope Thompson.
You're available? Just saying.
I don't know why she would say that. She sees me heel every day, and it's not the best.
Well, that's awesome. So just depending on where you are and your horses and all of that, you're approaching each one of them differently. Will you be dallying or tying on, or does it depend on what type of cattle are there? How do you compete today when you put your money up in the heeling?
Well, the way I compete in the heeling is I tie on. And okay. I just feel that just takes one of the steps out of the equation, which really helps me out in my heeling.
Right, one of the variables. So, Hope, big picture, you've competed at the highest level in the WCRA. You've done well in our game. You've won good money. When you heard the WCRA announced in conjunction with the PBR, the Women's Rodeo World Championships, $750,000 guaranteed payout, where were you? I think I know. And what did you think? Where were you?
I was in Kansas City at one of the WCRA majors, actually, and I think I overheard it during an interview that I was doing there. And I feel like I started running around asking if I heard it right, because I was so excited about it. Yeah.
Fantastic. So how are you approaching? Because when I think of you as a breakaway roper. And unless my statistics are not right, which they might not be right, you're currently on the leaderboard in the heading. Is that right? But, or are you in the breakaway?
The breakaway.
The breakaway. Okay, so my stats are not right. What is your approach? Are you going to try to get one of those top 4 in breakaway and heading? Tell me what you're going to do.
Yeah, I want to exhaust every effort to be there in both of my events. I want to have some strategy to it. Definitely want to try to be in the top 4. So, like you said, it's so easy to just nominate where you're already entered. So I want to keep that up with the jackpots in both of my events. And just like I said, you're already nominating. So whenever it's a win you're in, I'll have that nominated. So if I get that, if I get the win you're in, then it just kind of, well, I guess, puts some ease in the back of your mind that you have a chance, out there. But I want to do whatever it takes. Whenever we're given the opportunity to compete at something like that for that much money, I want to do whatever it takes to be there.
Fantastic. So Sammy Joe sent me a private message and said that you are 16th in the heading in the leaderboard and 3rd in the breakaway. So you're in the top 4 in that breakaway. Just hold your spot there. I'm sure you'll be contending for that, huh?
I'm gonna try to hold it for sure.
Fantastic. Georgianne Warren. Hey, Georgianne. Thanks for tuning in. She says, hey, Hope and Lari Dee, rope like a girl. So that's awesome. And let me just go down here through some of these comments. Riley Matney says, hey, Riley. Mike Winsky says, that's awesome. Hey, Mike. If anybody has a question, if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, on Ride Pass, on our WCRA channels, and you have any question at all about the Women's Rodeo World Championship, don't hesitate to drop it in the chat or drop it in the comments on the Facebook page. So don't leave. I've got more for y'all, but I'm going to drop in and I'm going to bring Nancy Criss into the conversation. So thank you, ladies. And we'll bring, Nancy in here. Absolutely. Hey, Nancy.
Hey, JD, how's it going?
It's going great. So I don't know if you've heard, but I asked Hope and Lari Dee, where they were and what they thought when they heard the announcement for the Women's Rodeo World Championship $750,000 guarantee payout event. Where were you when you heard about it?
Actually, I was home, and believe it or not, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I think I saw an announcement on there as an email or something. I thought I was going to jump out of my seat because I was like, what? And I was so excited. I literally started sending messages to all my friends that rope and compete. I'm like, you have got to see this. It's time for you to dust your rope off. Let's go,
Right.
It's like, with everything you guys are doing, it's astronomical, and it's making us, like, I used to rope all the time, and now I just been running barrels, and now it's like, okay, now I want to go team rope again. I want to do this. So now I got to start doing more nominations. So
right.
I was so excited. I'm like, this is huge for women in rodeo.
Absolutely. So you're 7th in barrels on the WCRA leaderboard right now. So you're very familiar with the virtual rodeo qualifier and nominating events. For those who are maybe watching this who don't have a clue what nominating means or the VRQ, would you walk through maybe the first time you learned about that and now that you've been nominating a little bit, kind of like your journey? Because it's new. I mean, we've been at it a couple years, but it was a new thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised there is still a lot of girls I've run across that like don't understand how the nomination works and stuff. But I mean, it's very simple. So as long as you're going to like an open event, an open barrel race or whatever, you just nominate where you're going. You just go in and log in, date and time, where you're competing, and basically you're betting on yourself to bring a paycheck home. And so, and I'm going to be doing more of that because, like you said, I'm like at 7th, and I want to pop up to that top 4. So I'm going to be going even harder right now and nominating because, the nice thing, everything's starting to open back up. So we're able to hold barrel races and stuff and get back out there. But it's so easy. It's just, you go to an open event, nominate your run, and hope you do good at it, and then your points start racking up and you get on that leaderboard. And that's what I'm shooting for the finals, is to be on that leaderboard.
Yeah. So you're a producer as well. You put on events, mostly barrel races, or do you do
Also
anything?
barrel racing, but we are incorporating. We have the X Factor barrel racing, breakaway roping. So we're starting to try to work with some producers here at our events to actually incorporate breakaway roping at them now. So hopefully in the next 30 days, we'll have that going. And then I also, especially with everything you guys are doing, we want to be able to add team roping when it starts cooling off. So I have longer days to hold everything, because right now, like barrels, you know, we can have 75 to 100 girls at the barrel races. And so it's just time limit right now, but we're definitely going to be adding breakaway and then going on from there. And I know a lot of girls that have been coming to our events have been nominating their runs, because I saw like Tennessee, she was sitting up for segment 6. I think she's like in the top 12, and she's been nominating all of our races and stuff. Yeah, it's excellent what you guys are doing. It's really helping the sport of rodeo.
So how do you feel sticking with the nomination process, putting it into your words, because I've never asked you this question before, but I have a bias, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel like there's an opportunity to stay close to home and nominate locally, and have a real chance at running at some big money at the end of the segment?
Definitely. I mean, that's one of the main advantages, because I own a couple companies, so it's really hard for me to travel. So it's like I can just stay in the state of Arizona and go to the rodeos and you know, jackpots and stuff and still qualify. And it's like I didn't get to go days of 47. I actually qualified, but my horse got hurt and I had to vet out. So it's like, so I'm really looking forward to this one, but I've been able to do it and not travel more than probably 50 miles from home. So
that's amazing.
Why, yeah. And it makes it more affordable. And with the money and everything that WCRA is doing and how the women's rodeo, it's really making it where contestants can actually now make a living at it, especially the women, because you have all these opportunities and so much larger money to run at. And you don't have the huge cost of having to travel all across the U.S. to be able to do it, to be able to compete at it.
Yeah.
So, phenomenal concept.
You end up actually not having to wear out a pickup and trailer and wear the legs off your horse bouncing around in a trailer. You can actually run and earn money. That's fantastic. Do you, as a producer, with your producer hat on, this has opened up opportunities for you to partner with other producers or get more disciplines, get the team roping, get breakaway going. Do you see an uptick in the level of entries? I know COVID created such a fog to be able to measure it against a previous year or any of the previous 10 years, frankly. But what is your gut as it pertains to the ladies getting back into it, and actually seeing more competition at kind of the local level?
It is, because like I say, on average here, like at our jackpots around Santan, Queen Creek, we usually have over 100 contestants at a regular jackpot. And before you know, you'd be 30, 40 contestants. And now there's like 100, 140. So it's just really growing. And I think a lot of that too is because girls are trying to get out. They're trying to go to more events, because you can nominate them. So it's like, you know, I was going every Thursday before all the COVID and stuff to the one, so I could nominate. And then I'd be going to this one. So it's just, you know, you're able to compete at more events to be able to run at higher money and still not travel that far from home. And I think it's really it's astronomical. It's so cool to see what's going on with breakaway, with what you guys have all are doing and what everybody's done. And I'm hoping to see it, like Lari Dee and them talked about, for the team open to blow up for the women, just like breakaway has for the last 3 years, because it's bringing girls out of the woodwork. It's making everybody pick their rope up. And I think they're really enjoying it, because it's not such a financial strain, because you can stay closer to home and still be able to participate in these great, huge events that you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your support. Thank you for coming on today. Don't leave, because we'll have you back in, but I'm going to bring Jordi Edens in now. So, hey, Jordi, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if you're able to listen in, but for those of you who don't know, Jordi Edens, I introduced her a little bit ago. And for those of you who just joined our live stream, welcome. We're talking about the Women's Rodeo World Championships, which is our $750,000 guaranteed payout event that's happening in conjunction with our partner for this event, the PBR, and their World Finals. The 3rd through the 7th is the dates of this event of November in Las Vegas. So, Jordi, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Where were you when you heard about the Women's Rodeo World Championship? Where were you at when you heard it?
I think I was at home and we were watching the girls at the WCRA event, and y'all came across and took over and kind of told everybody and announced it, and it was kind of a surreal moment. I mean, to think we're going to get an opportunity like that, it was kind of a lot to take in.
So you are just getting started in your career. You've already had a lot of success in the breakaway roping. What does this statement that the PBR and the WCRA has made for women in rodeo, what does that mean to you, being right at the beginning of a wonderful career already, but thinking about your future in the sport of rodeo?
I mean, it gives you something like me, like the younger kids, that's something to look forward to. That's nothing we've really had anything to look forward to before at that magnitude. And for the WCRA to be able to do a strictly women's event and promote women on that type of platform, I mean, it's something that's unheard of for the women's events and stuff like that. So I feel like that's, for me, I'm looking forward to it, and I feel like it's just going to open more doors for us, and I think I'm at a really good spot for the future.
I do too. So your dad's a team roper, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you team rope as well?
I do.
You do? Are you planning on qualifying in the WCRA leaderboard for this WRWC in November?
Yes. I've actually, I think I've gone to 3 team ropings, and I've nominated for the heading for them. So I plan on to keep going, and I plan on to nominate at the BFI. I'll be heading at the all-girl, and I plan to nominate that. And then I go to a few little jackpots during the week, and I always nominate those. So hopefully we'll get in there.
Good. Do you have your own head horse, or does your dad have one tuned up and ready to go for you?
My dad rides my head horse. I keep him tuned up for him. He rides him at the amateur rodeos, but we share.
That's great.
Special to us.
That's great. Well, very good. So your heelers that you're roping with at the all girl at the BFI, are they tied on, or are they going to be dallying, or do you even know?
I believe Aspen. I'm roping with Aspen Miller, and I believe she'll dally. She usually dallies, so cool. I think she'll be dallying. Good.
Well, super excited to have you a part of this. Thank you for coming on today. And is there anything that you'd like to add on just anything specific about this event?
I think it's going to be awesome.
Cool.
I'm excited that we get this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So I'm just going to put you in the green room, and I'm going to bring Sammy Jo Smith in. So thanks, Jordi, for coming on. Don't go away, please, if you can. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hey, Sammy Jo.
Hey, everybody.
You might be muted. There you are. Good. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. For those of you who maybe missed the introductions, Sammy Jo is on our team. She's one of the early team members here way before I was. And Sammy Jo is the director of the VRQ, the Virtual Rodeo Qualifier. So you have been a champion for the ladies, you know, internally. You have been excited about this event. So I know that we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but maybe people haven't got to hear. What is your thought, or what did you think when you first heard the announcement of the $750,000 guaranteed payout Women's Rodeo World Championships?
So proud, I think, more than anything, to be a part of this team and to be bringing this level of an event to the women's rodeo at the same time as the PBR World Championships in Las Vegas, of all places, at the South Point. You know, I mean, it kept more and more fireworks just kept going off when they announced all the details, and honestly, more awesome news to come, right? Of just how the entries work and the nominations and the benefits to being on the leaderboard and not paying entry fees if you come through the WCRA side. I mean, I know I'm just rambling right now, but there's so much good happening with this event, and I'm extremely honored and proud to be a part of the team putting it on.
Yeah, well, that's so cool. I know I was pretty surprised, frankly. I was doing interviews with the champions in Kansas City, and some of the ladies came into the room that were getting an interview regarding this event, and they were like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Like, we had been talking about it, but Gary, our CEO, and Sean Gleason made the decision to announce that night on CBS, and the timing couldn't have been better, I don't think. And so not only was I excited, I was like, what the heck? I
know. Well, and Casey's point that you have up of, I get goosebumps just hearing the payout. I mean, the equal money across all 4 disciplines. Heck yeah, team ropers. I mean, get out there, you know, like it's such a cool opportunity. So, and talk about wanting to pick up your rope. My husband, I'm driving him crazy because I'm learning how to breakaway rope right now. And he college rodeoed all 4 years. I'm like, all right, Thomas, what am I doing wrong?
So good. Well, there might be a few people on here that could give you some pointers as well.
I'm going to need it for sure.
Let's take a minute and at a high level, because for everybody listening, watching, we're not going to steal the thunder of tomorrow's big announcement. Tomorrow, we are announcing. Why don't you talk about it, Sammy Jo? You know what we're announcing tomorrow.
Sure, yeah. So tomorrow, stay tuned. We will be releasing on our website, Facebook pages, some exciting news about our payouts, about open entries, about potentially the all-around payout as well. So a lot of great news to be shared tomorrow. And yeah, we definitely don't want to steal the thunder, but we hope that you all stay tuned for tomorrow because a lot of exciting news to come.
Yeah. And, you know, high level, we have 4 disciplines. Where's my camera? There it is. 4: heeling, heading, breakaway, barrels, and equal money paid out, $750,000 guaranteed paid out amongst all 4 of those disciplines. And we're like super jacked about the team roping because as we all know, and we talked to Hope and Lari Dee earlier, there's a lot of team roping talent at the women in the women's world of rodeo, and we're excited to be a part of really showcasing that at the Women's Rodeo World Championships, and we believe that girls that grow up swinging a rope that end up breakaway roping, we believe that there's going to be a whole new influx of team ropers that are going to be coming into the space, and super excited. Of course, team roping is so big. It's bigger. It gets bigger every year. And so we're just honored and excited to be able to have a platform to be able to showcase women team ropers.
Yeah.
You want to take a minute and just kind of walk through at a high level the 2 main paths for people to compete in the main event at the WRWC?
Yeah. Do you have that screen that we could, it may be easier to follow along, but For those of you that are new to this event, may not have seen some of our previous posts of how you can actually get in and compete at the Women's Rodeo World Championship. So this first screen we're looking at is for the team roping and breakaway roping. The first path, which is currently open right now, is the WCRA leaderboard side. So nominations through the VRQ, which again, if you've never nominated, you just go to app.wcrarodeo.com, register yourself, start nominating to earn points to be on the leaderboard. So as you see here, the nominate when you're in 16 athletes, that's called our fast track pool. And for all 4 disciplines, there's up to 16 athletes that we actually on our website have the events posted. You go compete at those events. If you win, you qualify into this fast track pool. And the top 4 out of that round, the 2 runs, the aggregate, will advance to the main event. Then the next round on that WCRA leaderboard side is number 1 through 4 from the WCRA leaderboard as of October 11th. Will advance directly into the main event as well in all 4 disciplines. And then the leaderboard 5 through 64 as of October 11th, the non-winners from that nominate when you're in, they will compete in 2 rounds, advance into the Elite 18, and then out of that Elite 18, the top 6 will advance into the main event. So a total of 14 athletes from competing in the WCRA virtual rodeo qualifier will get into the main event to compete for that share of the $750,000. So that's open now, nominate now, and start competing.
Right. And there's some benefits associated with competing and qualifying in the top 64 in the WCRA path. And it's no entry fees, and there's all kinds of benefits that's going to be associated with that. So I don't know if you want to go into any detail on that.
Yeah, I could just briefly touch on those really quick, because those of you that are participating in the WCRA VRQ right now, let's just go over really on a high level what those benefits are. So if you end up on number 1 through 4 on the leaderboard as of October 11th, your entry fees are complimentary, your stalls will be complimentary, and you'll receive a 3-night stay at the South Point Arena. The nominate when you're in seated qualification. So if you earn that qualification, you too get complimentary entry fees and a stall. And that's for 1 entry. And then the WCRA leaderboard, any athlete that's the number 5 through 64 will receive complimentary entry fees as well. So pretty much you start nominating now, you get on that leaderboard. There's no entry fee into this event, which is awesome.
Yes. Fantastic. Let's move over and talk a little bit about the other path to compete at the main event.
So again, stay tuned for tomorrow's announcement. More to come of what the entry fees are when the entries open. But ultimately, this event is, we want it open to the world as well. Anybody can show up, enter, and start competing in the qualifying rounds. And the other thing that I don't think we really touched on a lot, but those that are competing in the VRQ and may have a spot on the leaderboard side, you can also pay an entry fee to be in the open to the world side as well. And if you end up advancing into the main event through the WCRA leaderboard side, you'll actually get your entry fees that you paid on the open side reimbursed. You'll be refunded. So that's exciting and kind of a way to know for sure you've got 2 different ways to get into this event. So back to this open, there will be qualifying rounds for the team roping and breakaway. It'll be 2 runs. For those that are kind of familiar with previous WCRA events, round 1, the top 4 fastest times advance to the progressive round. Round 2, the top 4 fastest times progress. And then off the aggregate, the top 10 advance. And we fill from the aggregate. So once we're inside of that progressive round, then the top 10 fastest times will advance into the main event.
Right. Yeah. And there is a slide for that somewhere down in here. There we go. Top 10 fastest times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are some details to all of this, and it is going to be announced. The ground rules will be out in the wild for everybody to read, and we really encourage you to read them. And we're going to go through with Casey and Sammy Joe on a future live stream. We're going to get into the weeds a little bit about that, but there's been a lot of human hours and a lot of input from athletes and people that have been around the industry in rodeo for a very, very long time. Is it perfect? Probably not. But we are committed to making this thing as close to perfect as we can. Is it pretty dang good and pretty cool, and a lot of opportunities to actually earn a spot, to be one of the 24 gals and 4 disciplines to compete in the main event? Yeah, we believe that it is. And so I may just go right back up to the top, Sammy Joe, and talk a little bit, have you just talk a little bit about the main event, the perfs, if you will.
Sure. And for those, sorry, just really quick, those that were listening in that previous format, that was specifically for the team roping and breakaway. So any of you barrel racers that are watching, be sure to check out our website and see what that progressive format is too. The biggest thing for barrels is that you won't have as many runs on your horses. It's about 1 run per round. So be sure to check that out. Yep.
Yeah. Let me go to slide 19 because it covers the barrel racing right here. So just if you want to touch on it real quick there. And then before you jump and answer that, Laura, I'll throw it up here, has a question. Can one qualify twice to the main event in one discipline?
Laura, that's a great question. And into the main event itself, which I'm about to talk about that format, you were only allowed 1 qualification. But through the WCRA leaderboard and the open qualifying rounds, we're allowing multiple entries. But you can advance into the main event only 1 time per discipline. So a potential of 4 if someone were competing in barrels, breakaway, heading, and heeling. Right.
Great question. Thank you for sending that in. So talk about the barrel race just a little bit here.
Yeah. So pretty similar format to the team roping and breakaway, except for the number of rounds, like I said. So in that fast track pool where the top 16 nominate when you're in athletes, they'll compete 1 time, top 4 fastest into the main event. The 5 through 64, the WCRA leaderboard qualifying round, they will have 2 runs, but it'll actually be the top 18 fastest times from the 2 rounds, not the aggregate, that will advance into that Elite 18 round. That'll be 1 run, and the top 6 fastest times move into the main event.
Right. And the advantage there is if you have a fast time in your first run, you may want to make the decision to just save a run on your horse and roll the dice. There is a chance you could not make it through, but we do a great job of trying to keep the ground as consistent as possible so that there shouldn't be any distinct advantages to, one round or the other.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And then same on that on the open to the world side, that qualifying run will be 2 runs, top 18 fastest from the 2 rounds, not the aggregate, move into that progressive round. And then the progressive round will be 1 run, and the top 10 fastest times move into that main event as well to make up the top 24.
Perfect. What I'd like to do, what do you think, Sammy Joe? Should we bring everybody back in and see if they have a question about some of this stuff? Great.
I think that'd be great.
Awesome. So Jordi's back, Nancy's back, and Hope and Lari Dee are back. After listening to that, do y'all have any questions about the particulars that Sammy Joe or I might be able to answer as it pertains to the progression through this thing?
Well, and JD, do we want to take just a second too to go over that main event format?
Sure.
Let's just finish out what it means to get into that main event and what the rounds are.
For sure. Have at it.
So out of the top 24, then 14 come in from that WCRA leaderboard side, 10 come in from the open side. They compete in one round. The top 12 fastest times advance into round 2. And then out of those 12, the top 6 on the 2-run aggregate will advance into the championship round. And then the top 6 athletes per discipline, will have one run. It'll be a clean slate and will determine the women's rodeo world champion that day in each discipline.
Great. And there's a huge all-around bonus that we're going to be announcing tomorrow in our release. And you all are going to be blown away by what first place is going to pay. And there's a lot of money paid out throughout the events. But Lari Dee, Hope, Nancy, Jordi, after seeing some of this, I know that you've seen it before, but there's no dumb question, but is there any question that you guys might have or a comment or anything?
You know, I learned something. I didn't know you had a chance to get, if you qualified, you could also enter and get 2 chances at getting in. So that's really cool. And I know that week is my birthday, so it'd be a pretty good birthday present to go ahead and win one of those.
I agree. I concur. Cool. Nancy,
we're going to have to write that down, Hope, and bring you out a birthday cake when you win it.
Yeah. Lari Dee or Nancy, Jordi?
Nah, I'm good. You guys do a great job of explaining it and stuff. So it is cool. Like I didn't know too, just kind of like Hope said at first that you had your 2 options on the leaderboard and the open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
And I just encourage people to try to learn more about it. Don't just put it off to the side and say, well, I don't understand it, so I'm not going to do it. This is the best thing going, in my opinion. And I think that people need to take the time to try to understand how to nominate, how to enter these finals, how to get to the main event, and be appreciative of all the people that are behind us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I think I keep seeing people think it's too complicated to nominate. And once you do it, you realize what a simple process it is. I mean, so I do see that out there. They're like, I don't understand the nomination, but it's really simple.
Yeah.
It's
So
very
easy.
simple. I don't even know how to go Facebook Live. Obviously, I'm here with Hope, but I nominate a lot.
Exactly. Jordi, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Awesome. Do you have any comments or thoughts on anything?
No, I just think you're crazy if you're not nominating. I mean, you're already going to the rodeos. What's 1 minute of your time nominating?
I couldn't
this
have.
is something as especially as women ropers that like we've not had this opportunity, and so just like Lari Dee said, I mean, don't use something like that as an excuse. Learn about it and ask questions, and like this is your opportunity. You guys have worked really hard to put it in play for us, and so it's our job to do the rest.
Cool. Thank you. Let's everybody stay on if y'all are cool with it. And, I bet we wrap up here in the next 10 minutes or so. So if you have a question, if you're watching this live, drop it into the chat and we'll do our best to answer it. Sammy Joe, talk a little bit about the Nominate and When You're In events that are out there. And for those of you who maybe missed that part, I'll try to get back to one of those. Why don't you talk about a little bit the Nominate?
So the benefit of competing at a Nominate When You're In event is that you get that qualification into the fast track pool. And I think it was our first live, somebody had asked us, if I win multiple Nominate When You're In events, do I get to compete multiple times in that fast track pool? And the answer is yes. So you can go to womensrodeoworldchampionship.com. We have a list of all of the Nominate When You're In events to come for each discipline there. But I do just want to highlight in the next week what events we do have coming up in each discipline. So bear with me. But for the barrel racers, our first event coming up is in Salina, Utah. It's on June 22nd. And it's the Extreme Million Finals. And then on June 24th in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we have the bonus race World Finals Open Race happening. And then for breakaway roping, we have the HJK Productions breakaway roping in Bonham, Texas, and that's June 21st. And then for breakaway and team roping, the Bob Feist Invitational is happening June 25th, and that's going to be at the Lazy E Arena in Guthrie, Oklahoma. So again, by nominating these events, you're already eligible to earn the points for the leaderboard. But then if you win them, you earn this Nominate When You're In qualification, which is just an extra, it's 1 round. Fast track pool is what we're called, or excuse me, it's 2 rounds, I'm sorry. But it's the fast track pool. And if you're in the top 4 on the aggregate, you go right into the main event. So really, really good opportunity here to just have one extra chance and qualification into that money.
Right. And for those guys who are slow like me, when I got into the WCRA, Scott and Bobby and you were talking about nominate when you're in, nominate when you're in. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So a nominate when you're in event is basically, if you nominate the event and you win first place, that means that you're into the fast track pool. And so it's just like Sammy just said, it's just an extra little icing on top of the cake, another chance. And 4 people out of 16, up to 4 people are going to get into the main event. That's pretty darn good odds. So go to the website, go to womensrodeoworldchampionship.com and look at those Nominate When You're In events. And if you're a producer that is out there right now, you have to get with Rob Smets on it. I think, Sammy Joe, do you know that if we have, are we full or is there still opportunity for producers?
So right now we're taking up to 16 athletes in each discipline. So it's kind of an evolving list. If a Nominate When You're In event happens and we don't have an athlete advance out of that event, we're adding events to the list. So if you are a producer, you're interested in becoming number one, an alliance partner in general, but that, yeah, and Nancy's waving because she is.
Hey, Nancy.
Yeah. You can email our team. Rob Smets is our alliance director, and he can get you all signed up.
Rob Smets, a.k.a. the Kamikaze Kid.
Yeah.
Rob, I'll be contacting you right after this.
Look out, Rob. Nancy's after you.
Yeah, I'm coming for you, Rob.
You just thought Crooked Nose was bad, Rob. Look out. All right. Well, I think this has been super informative, and I want to honor y'all's time. Thank you for taking time away from life and sharing your time with us. And if you let's see if there's any questions. But just to kind of, okay, Tamara, I'm sorry. Tamara has a question. Can you explain the division more, please? So I wonder, do you know what she might mean by that, Sammy Joe?
So for us, divisions are like how the events are classified, division 1 through 4. So Tamara, I'm wondering if maybe that's what you're asking, if you want to clarify, but to explain, so if you're new to the virtual rodeo qualifier, you've never nominated before, there are 4 different nomination fees. Division 1 starts at $200 down to, in $50 increments, Division 4, which is $50. And we right now determine, okay, perfect, thanks, Tamara. We determine those divisions based on the total payout of the event. And so I would say the best thing to do is, if you're questioning why an event is a certain division, email our team support@wcrarodeo.com and we can further answer that question for you. But that's ultimately how we determine the divisions for the events.
Great. Georgianne said, don't forget to like the Women's Rodeo World Championship Facebook page. And we look forward to seeing y'all. Don't forget to share this video, because when we end the broadcast, it'll still be on, Ride Pass. It'll be on our 2 WCRA pages, and it'll be on YouTube. And so please, if you've gotten value out of this, if you have somebody that you care about that loves rodeo and should be learning about this, by all means, share this with them. And when we make the big announcement talking about the all-around bonus and the payout and more details about the actual rules of the rodeo, the competition rules, and all of that, be sure to dig in there and ask questions. Call the number on the screen here, email Sammy Joe's team at support@WCRArodeo.com. And we're super excited. $750,000 Women's Rodeo World Championship coming November 3rd through the 7th during the PBR World Finals. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome at the South Point property. We want to see y'all there. We want to celebrate your wins there. So does anybody have anything else? Because if not, we can get out of here.
I just thank you so much, Nancy and Hope and Jordi and Lari Dee, for joining us.
Thank you. Guys.
Yeah. All right. We will sign off. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.